Let's introduce the use of our UHV-220/30 FK wide voltage battery discharge tester. Due to the limitation of conditions, after turning on the instrument, I will briefly introduce how to set up the instrument and how to connect it on site. The operation of the instrument is mainly on the back of the instrument. This is a discharge instrument without charging function. So there is only one 220 volts power interface on the power supply. It does not require very high power, because the power dissipation of discharge is usually not high. It has an antenna with communication. This is our S485, which is remote. This is the acquisition box for single-cell monitoring. If it is equipped with single-cell monitoring, this place must be connected. If single-cell monitoring is not required, it can be left unconnected. It depends on the customer's choice. There is an external interface for total current below. It can also be left unconnected. There is a discharge terminal on both sides. These two are relatively thick wires. These are the two wires of total voltage, which should be connected to the two ends of the battery. This is also connected to the two ends of the battery. It turns on directly after the power is turned on. Only a few functions are needed during normal use. There is a voltage limit fault on it. It is not a problem with the instrument, but there is no wiring here. If the problem still occurs in this place after normal wiring on site, then you should pay attention to it. Is it because we connected the positive and negative poles in reverse or other problems? We must pay attention to this place. There will be a prompt. When starting the test, first set up the entire battery pack. Enter the quick test interface. We can modify it here. There are some templates in it. We can create some new templates, and modify them on these templates. All are OK, which is equivalent to some settings. Click to modify. Click directly. The parameters here can be modified. The room number, battery group number, and test name. These parameters are based on the on-site situation. They do not affect your entire test. It is just equivalent to a name. I test which battery in which room. This is just a name. It is convenient to query. It will not affect the entire test. What affects the test is the maximum current. Maximum discharge current. This needs to be set. It is generally recommended to follow the rated current, which is at least 10% of the rated current of the battery pack. Or it can be a little larger. The single-cell monitoring switch is set according to your own situation. If it is equipped with single-cell monitoring, click on it. After clicking on it, you must connect it. You cannot have single-cell monitoring, but still click on it when you don't use it. This is not allowed. When you are equipped with single-cell monitoring and want to use single-cell monitoring, turn it on here. If there is no such function or you don't want to use it, click to turn it off here. Be sure to pay attention, and you will get an error at that time. The module communication method is WIS. This is basically set at the factory, and no modification is required. The voltage of the entire group is set according to the voltage of the entire battery group. This is based on the voltage of the entire group. It is not a single cell. Be sure to distinguish the requirements of the single cell and the voltage of the entire group. This is a wide voltage, so the voltage here can save more energy. Of course, there are also non-singles, and the compatibility is a little worse. The number of allowed faults is selected according to the needs. How many faults can be allowed here? The battery sequence is negative or positive. If you don't connect a single cell, then it's okay. If you connect a single cell, the wiring sequence from negative to positive is different. At this time, you need to pay attention. I won't go into details here. The manual has a detailed explanation. It is also mentioned on the help instructions page. Starting from negative or positive, the wiring is different. It will affect the wiring of the single cell monitoring. The recording time is also set according to your own needs, and it will not have any impact on the test. The single cell voltage must be based on the site. The battery pack of the single cell can be 1.5 volts, 2 volts, or other, and you must choose the right one. The number of single-cell monitoring is also based on the number of battery packs on site. The monitoring module is also set according to needs. All of this needs to be changed. The current sensor is generally internal. A total current appears after selecting the external sensor. If you choose external, there is also one. Generally, it is internal. Then return. Click OK. After entering this page, you still need to make changes. The discharge time, the lower limit of the entire group voltage, and the rated current of the discharge current. These must be set. We can also set it here, according to our preferences. Because it is a discharge tester. The page is used more often. Other data, including monitoring, can be viewed here, including single-cell low voltage. If a single cell appears, it can be viewed here. If there is this module, it can be viewed. There is no place without the module, and it is all 0. Other test data about the product can be viewed. Because there is no test, there is no data saved. There is no start test. Because each time it starts here. There is no setting here. System settings, usually there is a password. These two modules are used most often. I would like to emphasize that there are several things we need to set that affect the test: the voltage of the whole group, the current during discharge, the switch of the single cell, wiring of the single cell monitoring starts from negative or positive, discharge time, lower limit of the voltage of the whole group, etc. These will affect the results. Pay special attention to these parameters. Other data are not affected much. If there are still problems, feel free to contact us.